Hello, this is Maestro X, and I'm going to go over the academic word level 2, orient, for week 7, quarter 3. Orient has 3 syllables, or, e, ent. And the emphasis is on the first syllable, or, so we say orient. Be sure you pronounce the final T sound, orient. It is used most commonly today as a verb, and it is not used very much as a noun. So I'm going to have you use it as a verb in your original sentence about you. Let's go over the verb forms first. The first one is to direct someone or something toward something else, okay? Or to make or adapt someone or something for a particular purpose. Let me say that again. To direct someone or something towards something. So usually that's leading or guiding. Has that connotation of guiding. Okay? Or changing someone or something slightly to adapt them for a particular situation. So when we have new students coming into English 2, Mr. X tries to orient them, tries to direct them towards feeling comfortable in the class, tries to have them feel more knowledgeable about what the expectations are by giving class tours and having students pair up, etc. Okay. Let's look at a sentence example. It is important to use transitional expressions in speeches to orient your audience. Transitional expressions are words or phrases like furthermore, consequently, as a result, which is what this young man is saying here. And we use those transitional expressions in our speeches so that our audience is directed towards better understanding of what we're saying. So you're kind of using these expressions to guide your audience. All right? Or to make them more able to understand what you are saying. That's the first definition of orient. You can also think about when San Juana gives has an assembly for new students, and we can say that she orients the students, the new students, to the expectations of the school. The other one has to do with physical location. So the second definition is to find your position in relation to your surroundings. Find your position in relation to your surroundings. So that's a matter of just being able to locate yourself and understand where you are. So if we look at another sentence example, when the woman gets off the subway, she orients herself by looking at maps. In other words, she's finding her position. Maybe sometime when you get out of a subway, it's hard to know, which way is north and south and which direction to walk. So you have to look at a map to orient yourself, to find your position in relation to your surroundings. So that's the second definition. Okay, the noun definition, we actually use the term the orient. And it's an old term that's used to refer to the eastern part of the world, especially China and Japan. So this was mostly used by Europeans and people in the United States, but like 100, 200, 300 years ago. So we say that the usage is considered antiquated in the United States. Antiquated, which means that we don't really use the term anymore. Okay. But sometimes it's used to describe Asian goods, products. You even still see a Bank of the Orient in some places around San Jose. But largely the term isn't used so much anymore. But for visual, you can see that it generally referred to the Eastern Hemisphere, countries in the Eastern Hemisphere in Asia. There was another term that used to be used to refer to the Western European and the United States, Occidental countries. Again, that term is not used so much anymore. Okay. So when we refer to countries in Asia, just use Asia or East Asia. It's more accurate, and the term Orient has a lot of connotations, sometimes negative connotations that Asian people or Asian Americans in the United States consider offensive or are sensitive to. So it's just better not to use it. Alright, so that is your explanation for Orient. Let me go over the familial words because you have a lot of them. Okay? So the prefix re means again. So the prefix can be used for any of them. Let me give you some examples as well as go over these pronunciations. So we have reorientate. And orientate and orient are basically the same. Orient, orientate, they're both verbs. Orientated, orientation, orientating, oriented, and orienting. Okay? So basically we have familial forms and then variations on the verb form orientate, which again means the same thing as orient. You can orient something or you can orientate something. One student was asking for sentence examples for these, so let me give you those. You can say, it is important to use transitional expressions in speeches to orientate your audience. The audience was orientated by the use of transitional expressions by the speaker. That's an adjective use. Orientation. New students attended an orientation to become familiar with school expectations. So that's an event where we orientate. Orientating or oriented. Vice principal San Juan was reorienting the returning students, or you can say the returning students were reoriented. And orienting, the transitional expressions were orienting the audience. So again, orientate, orient, similar, and their familial forms, whether you use orientating or orienting, is similar as well. You have three synonyms: familiarize, to make familiar, align, and direct. And you have one antonym here, disorient. Okay, the opposite. If you make someone confused, you disorient them. And that is your level 2 academic word for today. Write an original sentence using orient as a verb, and be sure to give an illustration. Happy studying.